Gurute Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadarmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prabhadakanam Shri Guru Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Anusi Devi Navami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gopala Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama So Hare Krishna everyone, thank you so much for coming to listen to me, even though I actually don't know anything about this verse, but I will just try my best to repeat something which it's enlives in Srila Prabhupada, and I pray that it can be enlivens for our spiritual life. Okay, so I'm just gonna read again the verse. The sage Jamadagni, who was engaged in great austerities in the forest, received the king very well. Along with the king's soldiers, ministers, and carriers, he supplied all the necessities to worship these guests. Actually, can I have the book, please? For he possessed a Kamadhenu cow that was able to supply everything. It's 9:15:24. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So in this verse, I think there is a few points that we could discuss a bit. We don't have so much time, only 10 minutes. So
No, it's not. It's until 9 now.
Yeah, till 9.
Really?
The classic time.
So okay, I will just do what I can. Maybe we'll finish quicker.
If you want, you can read also the beginning of the chapter. If that can help you, there is the summary of the chapter.
Oh, okay. So I will speak about a few things that are relevant. I found relevant in this verse. The first thing is that the king actually he was doing great austerities, but even though he was doing great austerities, he was actually able to receive all the guests that came to him in a very nice way, and he was living also in a very austere way in the forest, which is actually very important in our Krishna consciousness. It's how we actually are receiving guests. This actually shows that it's so important that when guests are coming into our house or the temple, that we receive them in a very nice way, because it is said also in the verse that he only had one kamadhenu, which means a cow, and only with this cow actually he was able to facilitate all the needs of the guests. So he was able to cook for them, prashadam and give amazing feast for them. Just 1 minute, please. Yeah, so it shows that Krishna is always providing whatever we need when we are when we surrender to Him, because he was actually living in the forest, and he just had this cow, and with this only cow, he was able to supply foodstuff, milk, and everything. And actually, in few years before, now it's been maybe 60 years before, people would live in the villages, at least where I come from in Morocco, like we had like animal, and then we just had, like cow or donkey, and then they just used to we just used to milk the cows, or like then the male used to work the earth, as we are doing now in New Mayapur. I mean, we're trying to do to be self-sufficient, and from that actually everything would come: the fruits, vegetables, and then milk to make paneer, cheese, and it was actually so tasty. The food, everything was so tasty. You didn't even need to put any spices on the food, that it was really nice. Now even you have to put so many spices, and even though you cannot feel the taste, right? Everything becomes so chemical. So because when we are trying to put superficial means, and we try to transform the nature, what Krishna giving us, then it cannot become nice. Then actually it brings suffering. And even now we can see nowadays people have more and more digestion problems, and some actually disease that was not even existing a few years before, like now so many people has got so many people I talk to, they always tell me also, like, I have digestion problem, this and that. And I remember, like, when I was a child, no one has these problems with digestion. Like, everyone was fine, most of the people. But now everyone has problems because of because the nature is being mistreated. So then Mother Earth Bhumi is not happy, and so she's giving reaction also to the humans. So which we also have to suffer, and which is the characteristic of this age of Kali. So so yeah, that was one thing which was nice. And so yeah, so the other thing, of course, is that it said that Jamadagni was able to receive all the king's followers properly and feed them sumptuously with food prepared in ghee. So also, like when we have guests, like I guess when we are also grihasta, we should also receive nice food when we have guests. And it is said that even if we have means to provide, then we should provide nice food and invite brahmanas, and or also if we don't have anything, we offer a cup of water and offer a seat. Something should be there, otherwise it's actually offensive way if we have guests and we don't offer them anything. But also in the temple, when people come, we should always smile to them. Like I can see here, it's very nice in Paris how every time a guest come, they always receive sorry they always receive some sweets, and someone is like Harini nicely yesterday was here and giving maha beads to chant for everyone, and invite them to come back warmly. So it's so nice because this leave like a very nice impression in people's hearts, and then this is how they want to come back, no? Because of the devotees they meet. Even if we have like such a wonderful place, if people come and there is no one to receive them, then they will not come back, because they will feel like, oh, this is so cold place, I don't want to come back. But even if it's a small place and it doesn't look beautiful, and if the people are warm and nice, this is more important actually than the place itself. So yeah, it's so nice here, because it's true that I see that its guests are always nice received, and devotees always going from their way to to receive people. And like that. So also, what do we have in this verse? So it is said, the king was astonished at how opulent Jamadagni was because of possessing only one cow, and therefore he became envious of the great sage. So so the second point is like that he became actually too proud, so that Jamadagni became too proud, and then he Huh?
The king became
the king became too proud, and so maybe I have this verse because I'm too proud. Now I understand why Krishna put me here. So yeah, and then it says, but if one becomes puffed up and acts whimsically, he will be punished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, this is very important that we are careful about not becoming proud of what Krishna is giving us. Because actually I remember, even a homeless person can become proud. Like if he sees that he gets a penny more than the next person. I remember when we went to Vrindavan, there is a queue of people, beggars, and it's like you buy every time 100 coins, and you distribute these coins, and if you give 3 coins to that one and 2 coins to the one, they get so upset. Why this one? So sometimes I was seeing like they're looking like that. So for anything actually we can become proud. It doesn't mean that even if we get something little capacity or more something more than the neighbor, then pride comes. Like I remember when I was living with my parents, like the neighbors always look what the neighbor has. Like, oh, he has a new car. Oh, he has like look how the house looks nice, or how the grass looks nice, or how the plants looks nice. Why in my garden I don't have nice plants like flowers growing, or like so easy to become envious when we don't have actually God in the center. Because when we understand that Krishna is giving us this opulence and we are becoming conscious of Krishna, then we don't have this problem. And there's actually few verses in the Bhagavad Gita describing that. I wanted to read them. So just a minute. So in the chapter 16:13, it is said, the demoniac person thinks so much wealth has been gained by me today, and I will gain more according to my plans. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future. That enemy has been killed by me, and I shall kill others also. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am successful, powerful, and happy. I am rich and surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none equal to me. I shall perform sacrifices, give charity, and thus rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. So this is actually demoniac mentality, when we think that we are the doer, and that it's because of us that we are doing anything which is we are doing in this world, like even book distribution or cooking or any talent that Krishna may had given us. Actually, we always have to give credits to Guru and Krishna, because otherwise we become proud and puffed up when we think, I am a good cook, I am a good singer, I am a good book distributor, anything actually. Especially, when we come to Krishna consciousness, then with more years we also become more experts in things, because we learn, no? So then the danger is more and more there, because we become more and more qualified, but with more and more qualification, then pride may come. So we always have to remember how Krishna is is always the provider of everything that we have. I'm trying to remember a verse, but I'm so bad in verses that it's a verse. I think it's Bhoktaram Yakata Pasham Sarga Lokama Eshvaram Suridam Sarga Suridam Sargam Yanavam Chanti Vichati. So in this verse, Krishna is explaining how he's the beneficiary and also the provider of all living entities. And also he's saying that I am the supreme lord of all planets and demigods and the well-wisher of all living entities. And the one who knows this attains peace from the pains of material miseries. So this is very, very nice verse actually to remember, because Krishna is explaining how he's providing everything. When we are conditioned, then we are in the illusory energy, and then we become anxious. It creates anxiety actually when we don't remember that the Lord is the provider of everything. But when we always remember that Krishna is giving us everything that we receive in life, whatever big or small, then we become free from anxiety. And this comes, of course, from practice, because Prabhupada said that Vaikuntha means no anxiety. So when we develop the Vaikuntha consciousness or Krishna consciousness, its anxiety becomes less and less, unless for material things. That of course we can have anxiety to please Krishna, like I want that Krishna eats nicely, so I have to check if there's nice vegetables for him or nice fruits, and but anxiety for material things, material attachment, then this is something that is not so favorable for our Krishna consciousness. Shishirada Parishishvara ki, Vishnu Paisa ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. So we can just try to offer everything that we have to the Lord. We can offer our day, we can offer our activities, like any austerities we do, we always remember to come to Radha Parishishvara and offer them nicely. And in that way, we become free from any reaction from pride, and they become pleased actually. There is also some example from Srimad Bhagavatam that many examples actually when devotees became proud and then they become humbled by Krishna. Like Indra, he was so blinded by his opulence, and he became so proud because he was the king of heavens. And so Krishna took everything from him, and then he became humbled. And also when Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, and he did, of course, when he gave this rain and 7 days of rain, and he proved to Indra how proud he was, and Indra was so bewildered by the power of Krishna. And so sometimes when we don't understand, then Krishna gives us an experience like that to humble us, which is actually the mercy of Krishna. So everything is actually mercy of Krishna. So, but when he is very, very kind and he wants us to be humble, then every time when we become proud, he will give us something. Some devotee will come and tell us something, or something will happen that we become humble. We get, any arrangement from Krishna will happen that he will remind us. Okay, I am, you have to be careful. So we have also Duryodhan. He was born into a royal family and he became arrogant because of his wealth, power, and all his followers. So and at the end he was defeated and killed. So it also showed that birth, wealth, and position doesn't actually justify our our unrighteous actions, which means that it doesn't. It's not. Sometimes we can get some position in our life, and whether we can become brahmana or we can become manager of something. Krishna will will give us maybe some position in life, and then you have to be careful to also offer that to Krishna, because it can also lead to pride. It's actually one of the greatest enemy of in our Krishna consciousness, because it can really ruin everything, our progress, when we are not careful about it, because this can come very quickly and naturally in the mind of the conditioned soul. So, but the problem is, if we are not aware of it, when the thought comes in the mind, then it becomes bigger and bigger, and then we become then so many reaction comes, like we don't want to associate with devotees anymore because we think that we know better than them and we are more learned. Then we start to take distances, then we move away from the devotees, then we live alone, then we think that we know everything about the Shastra, and we start to make our own interpretation, and then it becomes dangerous, and then we even in many cases I saw that even rejection of one's own guru comes, because Maya is so strong, and it can give us so many so many things the mind can conceive, and if we are not having this sense of devotees around us, like when we have a house, we build a fence around the house. So, and we put this sign. Even sometimes they don't have a dog, they put like, be careful of the big dog. But actually there's no dog. But so this fence actually represents the enemies which will come in our life, because Maya, Devi, is sent by Krishna himself to test us. So he's sending her like, test and see how this person will react, and she really loves me or not. And so then things will come, tests will come in many ways. So of course at the beginning of our Krishna consciousness they come big, like more easy, because when we came at the beginning, it's just about chanting Hare Krishna, follow the four regulative principles. But then things becomes more and more subtle, because the false ego we need to get rid of the false ego, because the goal is to realize our relationship with Krishna. So for that we need to dissolve the false ego. But in order to dissolve the false ego, then we have to let go of the false identity, and for that Krishna may put us in many different situations which can be difficult for the ego himself, because maybe we have to become submissive, or we have to accept things that we are not ready to accept before. And what I noticed is, like, Krishna is always coming back to that point that you didn't want to work before, and Krishna will always come back to that point again and again and again. And he will just organize it in different situations, different setup, with different devotees in many places, because it's like Krishna gives us tests, right? So if we pass the test, then we go. We can go forward in our Krishna consciousness. But if we don't understand, then Krishna will make another arrangement, so that we are able to progress in our spiritual life. And this may take us many lifetimes, or this may take us just one lifetime, according to how much we want to surrender, and how much we can surrender, because the goal is to surrender to Krishna. So, but surrender means also do things that we don't like, and often it will be like that, because Krishna will test us and give us something we don't like to see if we're gonna surrender or not, because it's so easy to do things we like, activities we like, service we like, and yeah, I want to do that, I want to do this service, it's kind of like this service, I want to be with this devotee, it's kind of like this devotee, and so it's so easy to act in that way, because in the world this is what people do, no? They do the work they like, and yeah, normally it's the time, and they do activities they like, they live in the places they like, but this is still the mentality that I am the enjoyer and I want to do what I want when I want. But in order to surrender, we have to come to that level to accept that, it's like this Shishishtakam that we are reciting every morning. It's actually, if we study how it is actually, it's actually lead us to from the first point that, okay, Shitodarpana, we are cleaning the heart, and then we're chanting the holy names, and then it is said that there is no rules to chant these holy names, but then it said, okay, I don't want any wealth, nor any women's, nor any women's wealth, and respects also, followers, yeah, and followers for myself, so this is another step. But at the end, it is said that, okay, Krishna, just do whatever you want with me. You decide. So this is actually the level of full surrender. Like Bali Maharaj, he gives everything to Krishna, even his own head. He used to step in his one's head. And I remember, like, actually one person in my little experience in Krishna consciousness when I was in London, and she was, I was really inspired. She was the ashram leader. She is the ashram leader of London, ISKCON London. And she was always trying to practice this full surrender. She will come to me every day and she will say to me, I think Krishna wants me to do that, but it's so hard, I have to surrender this. And, because Krishna would always, because she has been Krishna consciousness for longer time. So she's senior actually. She's been like 15 years, something like that, and living in this temple. And so Krishna will go to every like spot in her life so that she surrenders to that. And she did want to have her own room, and even that, like Krishna more and more, he was like trying to make her surrender that. And she said, now maybe I have to surrender my own bed, so guests will come and they will sleep in her bed and she had to sleep on the floor. Of course she had choice to say no, she was not forced, but because she had the intelligence to understand that Krishna wanted her to do that in order to please him. And the question was that, am I ready to do that for Krishna or not? But of course, we are mixed most at the beginning, and some things we cannot able to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna gives us time, he gives us time, and then he polishes like a nice nice stone, so that we become a diamond and we are shining. So he will polish us from left and right, ups and down, and then until we are able to come to that point that we are actually able to surrender everything to Krishna. And and even actually it can go into also small details, the way how we is pleasing to Krishna, the way am I respecting etiquette, am I pleasing my authorities, am I actually following what my Guru Maharaj wants me to do, or his mood, or in so many in the day we can also practice it actually. Of course, at the beginning, in our Krishna consciousness, we have a guru, and then we have mentor, right, to guide us. But more and more we advance into Krishna consciousness, it's more and more the guru also. How we say, lâche la main. It's how we say in English? No. How we say lâche la main in English?
Lâche la main.
Like, this is like holding. Yeah, doesn't hold the hands anymore, and he expects us to become more and more mature in our Krishna consciousness, because the goal of the guru is to prepare us to. He's also, he knows that he will leave the body at some point, and he wants to have qualified disciples. That's what Prabhupada did also. as much as possible he trained his devotees in cooking, in preaching, in everything. Actually, his devotees were experts in running temples, encampment, and so the spiritual master is in anxiety that actually he lives, and the devotees are not trained. So he tried to give them as much guidance, but the goal is not that we are always behind him. The goal is that we actually become mature, and that we become mature in our decisions, and we become mature by taking shelter of the mentors around us, and senior devotees, and rely on him, because actually he has so many things to do. The spiritual master is so busy, so we should respect him, and give him also time to do his own preaching, his own sadhana, and try to not disturb him so much. So I think I will finish here, and I will just open it for discussion. Everyone can say something and correction. And please forgive me, because I was not prepared, and so I don't know, maybe I made some mistakes from maybe to have Prime Prabhu, because you are the temple president, you can start something.
Thank you for the spontaneous class. That opens a discussion. I think there are many topics that can be discussed and go further. When you mentioned about pride, I remember the class in Radhadesh from this brahmachari, forgot the name, Shyamananda Prabhu, and he was talking about pride and cancer. He was giving this wonderful analogy. It's fully relevant actually, that pride is our cancer in Krishna consciousness. Because the cancer, you cannot see it yourself. You need the diagnostic for that. So, and then it's very judgmental. And if you don't treat it at the beginning, it becomes bigger and bigger. You know, the tumor is becoming more spread in your body, so then it's too late. If you don't treat it immediately. And the more you wait, the more you will need a bigger treatment from the Lord, of the devotees. And it's also killing all our spiritual life. So this came to me, and about this pastime with Bali Maharaj, when Bali surrenders everything to the Lord. Actually, after his wife is Vindhyavali, she is correcting him in few verses, explaining that actually he thinks I make a summary of it, but he thinks he's offering you everything, but actually he's foolishly thinking that he possesses anything, where actually you are the only possessor of everything, as you mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, this pride is very prominent in our life, and Krishna kindly sends situations, but sometimes we don't see it like a help of Krishna. We see, okay, this devotee, is envious of me, and he wants just to correct me because he's envious, doesn't really want to help, and so he has problem I don't have. So it's our duty to always see behind that we are not perfect for sure, and that we have things to correct. If we can surpass in this life an art and ability, would be already a very good step in our spiritual life. Okay, Krishna Prema also is what we should aim for, but let's be realistic for the time being. Like an art and ability is still going on, and for that we need to keep association to at least see our anarthas, see our difficulties, and stop becoming too proud. Association is really helping for that. It's my personal experience. Yeah, this is it. There were other points also next week later. Thank you.
Thank you for giving the class. I am really sorry I couldn't. I was supposed to give the class, but even I couldn't remember it. And for the last few days, it was so tough, bodily and mentally, especially for the season. And it's so nice. And the same incident we see also in case of Vishwamitra and Vashishta. So Vishwamitra became envious for the same Kamdhanu matter. to Vaishishta, and like same fighting were going on, and it's years after years going on. And at one time, Vishwamitra, just to show that I am also so powerful, he sent one person. He tried to send one normal human being to the heavenly planet without any punya karma. So and Indra saw that someone is coming to the Sargalok and without having any punya karma. So he became astonished how it can be possible. Then he checked, okay, Vishwamitra is trying to do something so that he can show his power. Then Indra actually did the opposite, and the name of this person was Trishamku. And then this Trishamku is stuck in the middle place between Earth and Sargalok. In the middle, in the atmosphere, he is stuck there. So it was really fun, no? Anyway, so the fact is always, pride is always there, even in the great sizes, and fighting is always there. So we can't expect that fighting will not be among us, among devotees, among Krishna consciousness. But if we have the goal, then ultimately we have to be liberated from this. And if we see from our practical point of view, we are in different places for different times, and like the devotees we met earlier, now we don't see them anymore surrounding us. But the impression that we gave to us is still there. And whenever they will see us even in the social media, they will remember us, how sweet the past times how sweet the times I passed with him or with her while he was with me. So that impression is the most important in our life. Ultimate goal is to please the devotees and Krishna. And there are so many controversial things in the scriptures regarding the rules and regulations, but there is no contradiction. That day I was sharing this with Christopher Prabhu in the train. But there is no contradiction in this fact that we have to surrender. No devotee will say against this that we don't need to surrender. So even if there are so many controversial things may happen in our life, but ultimately that is the point, we have to surrender to Krishna. So even if bad things come, ultimately due to our surrender quality, these bad things will turn into the best, into the good. And I think every one of us will get this experience in our life. Something may seem very bad in our life and we can't tolerate it, and we react in a depressive way, in a angry mood. And after a few days or few months, we see, no, actually he did it for Krishna managed it, Krishna arranged it for my betterment only. And then we become respectful to that person, to that devotee, and to Krishna also. Anyway, thank you. I'm really sorry that Jayapur Prabhu got astonished why he is here instead of me. But yeah, it was too late for me.
Want to say something? Yeah.
Thank you. I came late. I mean, most of the points you already discussed, right?
We don't know your secrets to welcome nicely the devotees in the temple. You can share
I
maybe
learned
some.
from Prema Prabhu, Rasapana Prabhu. I see how they do every time the visitors are coming and they are giving class and how nicely they take care. And I'm just imbibing and observing their movements. And I think everyone is learning this from Maharaj without denying, without any arguments. How Maharaj, he takes care of the devotees every time they are coming. He just leave everything and just run behind them. Did they get prasadam? Did they get books? You know. So we just.
Okay, then we can finish here. Thank you everyone for kindly listening to me. Hare Krishna. Cheers.
Thank you, Prabhupada.